This is my desire to honor you, Lord, with all my heart I worship you. All I am within.
We could thank you.
Thank you.
This is Ruth. You've not met Ruth. This is Ruth Murray.
But I have seen you on the videos.
Yes, yes, yes. That's true. You know more about her than me.
I heard the singing as well.
That's true. That's true.
Anyway, good to see you. And can we actually do a voice check and then we'll start the interview? But
Get involved with the community and to ensure that the economic development is fairly distributed amongst the demographics of the country. And as you would know, South Africa is going through a huge transformation agenda, and that started in 1994, where the majority of the population were marginalized. And so in my job role throughout construction and mining, as well as in the REAP, I am involved in creating a platform where the demographics of the country is fairly represented in the economic activity of our country's infrastructure development. And so that then takes me back to that heart for humanitarian, for fairness, for justice, for equality, for equity. And so last year, I started the organization as BEE Mining and Construction in 2013. Back at a new level, at a much more mature level. And from August last year up until current, we evolved. So the country was resurrected, the company was resurrected in August, and we are here now, a few months later, having shareholders in New Energy South Africa, which is one of the international players in the world that are participating in renewable energy in the country. We've got shareholding there, 12%. We are doing community work, women empowerment work. So a lot has happened since then. But why I started it is because it started with a childhood vision for humanitarian work.
now the description of Women of Africa, I've had a look at the website and it's really quite detailed, but could you really describe more about the different areas of your work?
Yes, so the core part of our organization that brings in the revenue is the economic development component. Now, whether you're in any part of government work, whether you're working directly for Eskom, who is the national energy provider, or you're working in the renewable energy space, or you're working in infrastructure development with private companies, there is a requirement to adhere to certain economic development codes of good practice and codes of good practice. And what those good practice rules say, that if you want to work in the country, you need to promote transformation. So you need to promote African, Indian and colored people working in your organization, skills developing them, promoting small businesses throughout your supply chain work, etc. So the key core service that Women of Africa provides is aligning corporate companies and businesses to support the transformation agenda. So we take those rules and we go to the infrastructure development sponsors and companies and say, look, you need to adhere to this in order to meet your bid obligations. We will manage that part. So we manage the economic development activities to ensure that in their supply chain, there's a fair representation of the demographics of the country in their business work, in their employment profile, in terms of community work, promoting job creation, taking an unskilled worker as a labor worker, and when the project's finished, we have a development process that allows them to be semi-skilled and skilled. So we help corporate companies to be able to grow South Africa's economic demographics so that we have a demographics that is self-sustainable and we don't have to rely completely on imports. I mean, you know, South Africa has got a lot of natural resources.
Of interest with people in government as well.
Yes. The REAP program, the energy program, is Renewable Energy Independent Power Producer Program, REAP for short, and it is doing projects for selling energy to government.
Great, okay, well maybe I can come back to that one again, but one thing I do know about you, both of you, and particularly yourself, Ruth, is that prayer is really the mainstay, I believe, of your work. And I suppose you could almost say, Angelina, would you say that was one reason why the vision came back at a more mature level again?
Yep, absolutely. Whatever Ruth has been praying in the 8 years of dormancy, it was, at that time she wasn't praying, I was praying, but I was praying these things into existence, and God was bringing it into maturity in the natural. And then when Ruth came, she took it in prayer through a whole new level. And I mean, you can talk a little bit about that, hey?
That would be good, please.
Yes. Well, I always had a passion for prayer. So wherever I did a community work in the welfare, in church, I was a lady in the prison, in a men's prison for 7 years, started a prayer group there, and people would always love to say, look, we want Ruth to come and pray for us. And prayer has always been my passion. So when Angelina invited us to meet to a cell group, and the vision took place, and she said, can we get together for prayer on one Saturday afternoon? Myrtle, I and Angelina came praying at her home, and it just birthed from there. It was absolutely amazing. And actually I had a passion, a project that I did want to pray for women globally, but it was not the right time as well at that stage. It was denied by certain, you can say, dominations. And I believe God resurrected both of our passions. And then Angelina said, let's start this prayer. And I believe prayer is the platform. Without prayer, nothing comes to fruition. It is absolutely because of prayer. It's like a foundation. Then you build on that. In business, in school, doesn't matter where. They took the prayers out of school, you see what chaos there is. In government, in any circumstance, it positions provision when you pray. So prayer is really the starting point to bring everything together.
And if I could, sorry, if I can add to that. So Ruth started her praying last year, August, September. And what the Lord reminded me in January this year was that when Moses had to, had the mandate to instruct the people to go to war to defeat the giants, God raised up an Aaron and a Joshua to hold his hands on either side. And in January, the Lord said to me that Ruth needs a second person because they are agreeing together in intercession. And Rob, Myrtle started with Ruth in January, and it has taken the business to a whole new level because there's power of agreement amongst them when they pray.
Yes, we two or three of them.
Amen to that. And one thing which I think since you've been praying in recent times, I've been finding that actually God has given me even the ability not just to speak in tongues, but to actually sing in tongues, such that no matter what tune, I may pick up a hymn book and just, I remember that tune, and I just sing that, but with the words, just in the spirit, and it just seems to fit, just totally. And how on earth is that happening when there's only one way? It's because of God. So prayer can take so many different forms. And I just thank you for your prayers for us because it really means a lot.
You're welcome.
Okay. Now, how a woman of Africa.
Lord, with all my heart, I worship